Behind every NBA uniform is a designer at a sewing machine and a room full of marketing executives. But behind this classic 90s kit was no less than the fastest woman to ever walk the planet. This is the story of how these threads came to be. Indiana, the Hoosier State, home to Hinkle Fieldhouse, Assembly Hall, and so many tales of hoops lore. Back in the 80s, when the Pacers were looking to set themselves apart, they turned to someone who was the exact opposite of folksy Midwestern charm. Superstar Olympian Florence Griffith-Joyner, better known as Flo-Jo. These jerseys embody so much of what the NBA's Eastern Conference was about back in the day of the rough and tumble 90s. It wasn't just Reggie Miller giving choke signs to famous directors, more on that in a bit. The likes of Dale Davis and Rick Smits had their days too in the flowing electric look designed by the woman who redefined athletic style on the global scale. So how did the world record holder get involved with a basketball team that was still struggling to get its footing after coming over from the ABA? Well, it was the unique combination of timing, luck, and the boldness of an unpaid intern. Reggie Miller was drafted in 1987.
Reggie Miller of UCLA.
To a team that hadn't advanced past the first round of the playoffs in 12 years. The next year, coincidentally, the U.S. Olympic trials were held in Indianapolis. And in the quarterfinals of the 100-meter dash, Florence Griffith-Joyner did something that had never been done before and hasn't been replicated since.
Florence Griffith-Joyner blowing away the field in a 10:49.
Cannot be. No one can run that fast.
Flo-Jo's stardom on the track and her flamboyant outfits caught the eye of Rebecca Polyranis, a senior in college and the Pacers' first ever intern. She knew that the Pacers were looking to rebrand, so she suggested that they bring Flo-Jo on board. And the higher-ups promptly said no.
After they had said no, I had gone home and I just kind of thought about it. I was at a drugstore and I saw her on the cover of something and I just pulled a bunch of magazines and created what Oprah now calls, your vision board. And I took it to work and I gave it to my boss. And they said, we see it, we get it, we're in.
Flo-Jo's history as an athlete and pop culture phenomenon was certainly the stuff of legend long before her visions made it onto an NBA floor. She was in the perfect place at a time when Black American athletes were as popular as they'd ever been.
Flo-Jo had amazing game, and you looked at her, and once again, you could see somebody who was different. I think that there was a liberation that came with it as well, because she's really one of the first athletes who didn't just wear what she was told to wear. I'm going to have some say in how I look.
She made us realize everything is a piece of real estate, and everybody's watching at all times. And before you know it, we're watching her run, but you also want to see what outfit she's going to wear, or what color her nails, how long her nails are going to be.
It wasn't just her ability to rock these audacious looks on the track that qualified Flo-Jo for the job. She'd been designing athletic wear for years.
My mother taught me how to sew when I was 5, and I've always been, a designer at heart, wanting to do something really, really big in the world of designing all my life. I used to design my own Barbie clothes, and I would design clothes for Barbie and myself. We would dress alike. And I thought, gosh, I love doing this.
From the time we were in college, Florence would tell us what to wear. At that time, they had these little ruffle tops, and we would ruffle. And then when she designed the one-leg outfit, we were like, okay, this is risque. But I would say very tasteful, elegant, colorful, and a sense of women being seen in a different light, not just seeing us as athletes, but then we're more dimensional.
So when it came time to bring her talents to the NBA, she was prepared. And the result was a look that was undoubtedly Flo-Jo. Bold, stylish, and functional. She utilized a darker navy color and new logo, both rebranding decisions that came from the team, and she added longer shorts, a V-neck, and of course, an asymmetrical geometric design that was the signature of the jersey.
She talked about like, don't worry, I'm not gonna like put lace down the side of your leg or anything. It's gonna be a little more modest. And she stuck true to that, which to me, that says like she's a real designer. Like she knew her audience and she knew who she was designing for. She knew who was gonna wear that. She did a great job of knowing how far she could push the limits. And it wasn't very far, but it was still bold enough.
These jerseys, of course, came to represent an unforgettable period in Indiana Pacers history. Knicks fans, you might want to fast forward like 30 seconds. This uniform is what Reggie Miller wore in '94 when he lit up the Garden and trash-talked Spike Lee.
Miller open again. Boom, baby! Reggie Miller, who again is staring in the direction of, yes, that man.
It's what Reggie wore a year later when he scored 8 points in less than 9 seconds, again in New York.
Boom, baby! And hits the three from the high left, cutting the New York lead in half. Pacers still need some help. Oh, he threw it away. Reggie for three. Boom, baby! It's a tie ball game. Unbelievable!
By the time Indiana finally reached the finals in 2000, the Pacers were pinstripe clad. But it was the Flo-Jo era that established them as contenders. And Flo-Jo's indelible impact is a part of that resonance too. Her identity is what makes her link to the NBA so noteworthy. When you need expertise, go to a Black woman. You're going to get the best.
This is a woman who didn't seem like she held back or hid any aspect of herself, of her womanhood, of her Blackness. And she could do that all while running a race with the pressure of the world quite literally on her shoulders. It gave us permission to be expressive with our bodies, I think, in ways that Black women especially have been restricted.
Watching footage of Flo-Jo now, in a world in which musicians design athleisure wear and athletes are making documentaries, the idea of an athlete workshopping their own technical designs is a fascinating throwback. It's a sensibility she brought to the table when the Pacers came calling. And while the hair, the nails, the outfits, and the swag are very much part of Flo-Jo's legacy, she was, at the end of the day, one of the greatest athletes of her time, hands down. Just ask her sister-in-law.
Florence as a cultural force, even still today, people are still talking about her and what she meant to, not just to our sport of track and field, but to society, to empowering women, to dare to be different, to stand strong when others might be against you. It's just amazing that her legacy will continue to live on.